Elias Carter had never left Earth before. At 21, he had traveled across the United States for a few competitions, but never beyond the atmosphere. Now, he stood in the docking bay of the Interstellar Academic Coalition Station, a gleaming structure the size of a small city. Floating silently above the planet Rylothar, humans were rare here, and he was among the first officially enrolled. The docking bay buzzed with activity. Aliens of every imaginable shape and color moved about, carrying luggage, exchanging greetings, and speaking languages that sounded like music or static to Elias's ears. Some floated in the air, others walked on multiple legs, and a few even shimmered as though made of light. Elias felt tiny, nervous, and completely out of place. "Welcome to the Coalition Academy," a soft voice said behind him. Elias turned to see a tall figure, luminous green and four-armed, smiling in what he assumed was a friendly way. "I'm Rivix. You must be Elias Carter, from Earth." "Yes," Elias said, extending his hand, unsure which of the four hands to shake. Rivix chuckled, a sound like wind chimes. "On my planet, we use all hands for greetings, but one will do for you." Elias laughed awkwardly and shook the nearest hand. "Thanks. I guess." Rivix's glowing eyes scanned the docking bay. "You'll find life here unusual at first, but you'll adapt. And," he added casually, "on my planet, sharing a bed is common." Elias froze mid-step. Did he just say what I think he said? Sorry," Elias stammered. "It's a cultural custom," Rivix said, as if it were the most normal thing in the universe. "It shows trust and friendship. You will understand eventually." Elias blinked. He had read about alien customs in books and seen them in simulations, but this was different. "Sharing a bed? With my roommate?" He swallowed hard and tried to smile. "I see," Rivix waved his four hands dismissively. "No worries, we adjust to each other. Come, I will show you your quarters." The two walked through the docking bay, past towering windows that revealed the infinite black of space dotted with stars. Elias's stomach churned with both excitement and fear. The station itself was incredible corridors of silver metal lined with glowing panels, doors that opened automatically as he approached, and views that made him feel like he was floating in a dream. Finally, they arrived at the housing section. Rivix opened a door and gestured inside. "Here is your room. I am your roommate." Elias stepped inside. The room was small by human standards, but perfectly organized. A single, large bed dominated one side, and a desk with multiple workstations lined the other. Holographic panels floated in the air, ready for use. "And this is our bed?" Elias asked cautiously, pointing at the single, wide bed. Rivix nodded casually. "Yes. We will share it during sleep cycles. Nothing unusual. It is a sign of mutual trust. You are not expected to like it immediately, but you will see its value." Elias gulped. "This is going to be harder than I thought." He set down his luggage and tried to focus on other details. Rivix noticed and tilted his head. "You are nervous. It is natural. Most humans are. But trust me, you will enjoy this. You will learn more than you expect, and you will make friends from across the galaxy." "Friends from across the galaxy," Elias repeated, trying to make himself believe it. "That sounds amazing and scary." Rivix laughed, the soft chime-like sound filling the room. "Exactly. Both feelings are good. You will survive. You are human. After all, we have heard much about your species' creativity and resilience." Elias blinked. "Creativity and resilience? That's nice to hear, I guess." Over the next hour, Rivix showed Elias how the room worked. The holographic panels could project homework assignments, entertainment, and even a star map showing nearby systems. The bed adjusted automatically for comfort, temperature, and gravity levels. "And remember," Rivix said, "our sleep cycles may differ from human cycles. You will adapt. Do not fear differences. Differences make learning possible. Elias nodded, still feeling out of place, but secretly fascinated. Maybe this won't be so bad after all. After Rivix left to check on his own matters, Elias sat on the edge of the bed, staring out the window at the stars. Earth looked like a tiny blue marble in the distance. It was beautiful, and for the first time, he felt a mix of pride and awe. Humans had made it this far. They were truly part of a greater universe. The first night in the room, Elias tried to sleep, but the idea of sharing a bed with an alien kept him awake. He tossed and turned, imagining all the possibilities of discomfort, but also realizing he had to trust Rivix. If this was part of his survival and adaptation, he could handle it. After all, humans had faced worse challenges before, just not usually in space. The next morning, Rivix returned. He was carrying breakfast, small glowing pods that smelled faintly like vanilla and honey. Elias had no idea how to eat them. Just place in mouth and chew, Rivix instructed. Do not fear unusual textures. Elias took a bite. Surprisingly, it was delicious, unlike anything he had eaten before. Wow, this is actually good. Of course, Rivix said with a grin. We do not serve food humans dislike. Harmony of taste is important. As they ate, Rivix explained the Academy's schedule. Classes in alien engineering, interstellar diplomacy, and xenobiology. Elias would be part of a group project to design a small spacecraft suitable for interstellar travel. Humans were known for thinking outside the box, and Rivix seemed genuinely impressed by this. Later, on the way to their first class, Rivix introduced Elias to other students. Some were floating or walking on multiple legs. Others had shapes and colors humans could barely describe. Despite the differences, everyone greeted Elias warmly. He realized that, here, humanity's reputation preceded him. Humans were clever, adaptable, and surprisingly resilient. In class, the professors were unlike any human teachers. They spoke in musical tones, using hand gestures, holograms, and light patterns. Elias struggled at first, but then he remembered his Earth lessons. Humans are persistent. They solve problems. He asked questions, experimented with the equipment, and slowly began to understand alien concepts. By the end of the day, Elias was exhausted but exhilarated. He returned to his room with Rivix, feeling slightly more at ease. The alien roommate even suggested a game, a holographic puzzle that required teamwork. Elias was hesitant but agreed. Together, they solved the puzzle, and for the first time, Elias felt a true sense of accomplishment in this strange new world. That night, as they prepared for sleep, Elias hesitated before climbing into the bed. Rivix gave him a reassuring nod. Trust is the first step. Sleep comes after. You will see. Elias lay down, careful to give Rivix space. It was awkward at first, but then he realized he could relax. Rivix's presence was calming, almost like the security humans feel when they sleep near someone they trust. Maybe this isn't so strange after all. He drifted off to sleep, staring at the stars through the window, thinking about what Rivix had said. Humans were considered anomalies in the galaxy, capable of incredible adaptation. Maybe this was just the first test, and he was ready to face it. By the time Elias woke the next morning, he had made a small promise to himself. He would embrace this experience fully. New world, new friends, new challenges, and maybe, just maybe, sharing a bed with an alien roommate would turn out to be one of the best lessons he had ever learned. Elias stretched, smiled at Rivix, and thought, humans survive, humans adapt. Humans can even trust a four-armed alien in a glowing bed. And somehow, that felt amazing. Elias Carter woke to the soft, glowing light of the room. Rivix was already awake, his bioluminescent body gently pulsing like the heartbeat of a calm star. The alien was sitting cross-legged on the bed, stretching all four arms gracefully. Good morning, human, Rivix said with a melodic tone. Did you sleep well? Elias rubbed his eyes and yawned. I think so. It's different, but not bad. He glanced at the bed, realizing he had slept more comfortably than he expected. You weren't intrusive or anything. Rivix tilted his head. Intrusion is not the concept. Sharing a bed is trust. You trusted me, I trusted you. That is all. Elias nodded slowly, trying to understand the alien mindset. Humans had many customs around personal space. But here, trust meant something deeper. Maybe humans could learn from this, he thought. After a quick breakfast of glowing pods that Elias now enjoyed, Rivix led him through the academy to their first practical class. Interstellar Engineering Applications. The classroom was enormous, shaped like a dome. Workstations floated in the air, each equipped with tools and holographic displays. Around them, aliens of various species were already forming groups, buzzing with excitement. Rivix leaned close. Today, you will experience collaborative problem-solving. Humans are known for creativity. Observe, learn, and contribute. Elias smiled nervously. I can do that. Their instructor, a floating, translucent being named Vionara, greeted the class with a chorus of musical tones. The tones resonated with the walls and seemed to fill the room with energy. Elias felt a slight dizziness at first but soon adapted, recognizing the rhythm as language. The project, Vionara explained, is to design a propulsion module that can function in multiple star systems. You may use any material provided and combine techniques across cultures. Elias glanced at his group members. A small, chittering alien with wings, a tall humanoid with crystalline skin, and Rivix. His heart sank slightly. This is going to be complicated, but Rivix whispered, do not worry. Humans adapt. Observe first, then innovate. That is your strength. As the group began brainstorming, Elias noticed something strange. The aliens communicated in ways he had never imagined. Some emitted colors from their skin. Others made musical tones, and a few even manipulated small energy fields around them. Words were secondary. Intention and gesture were primary. Elias had to adapt quickly. He sketched his ideas on the floating holographic pad, drawing diagrams of propulsion systems that used compact energy cores. He suggested combining human material science with alien energy manipulation. At first, some group members looked skeptical. But when the small winged alien tried to adjust the energy field according to Elias's design, it worked perfectly. The energy stabilized in a way no one had expected. Rivix's eyes glowed faintly, signaling approval. See? Humans think differently. That is why they are valuable. Anon, Elias felt a surge of pride. He was contributing something new, something no alien had thought of. And somehow, Rivix's calm confidence made him feel capable of more than he imagined. After class, the group presented their design to the instructor. Vionara emitted a harmonious tone that sounded almost like laughter. Impressive. A human contribution harmonizes with alien techniques. Excellent work. Elias smiled shyly. He had survived the first major challenge. The next day brought cultural lessons. Rivix insisted that Elias participate fully. That meant communal meals, synchronized walks around the academy gardens, and even group meditation where participants connected through subtle bioelectric signals. Elias found the meals fascinating. Aliens shared food in a way that humans rarely did. A single portion was passed around, each participant tasting and adding subtle enhancements. It was a combination of trust, cooperation, and artistry. Try it, Rivix urged. You will see the joy of shared experience. Elias hesitated but followed. He discovered new flavors, textures, and sensations that Earth food could never match. He realized that the act of sharing itself made the food taste better. It was as if trust and openness were ingredients. During meditation, Elias struggled at first. Connecting his mind to others through bioelectric signals felt intrusive. But Rivix guided him patiently. Relax. Do not fear difference. Difference creates understanding. Slowly, Elias felt a sense of unity he had never experienced. He could sense the presence of others in a quiet, subtle way, no words necessary. It was humbling, beautiful, and strangely comforting. By the end of the day, Elias was exhausted. He returned to his room and flopped onto the bed next to Rivix, who was reading a glowing text floating in midair. "You are learning quickly," Rivix said without looking up. "Humans adapt. That is why your species thrives." Elias laughed softly. I just have to try not to freak out every time I see something strange." "One," Rivix chuckled. "Freaking out is natural. But remember, human resilience is remarkable. You will survive challenges we cannot even imagine." Elias smiled, realizing that Rivix's confidence in him was beginning to shape his own confidence. Over the next few days, Elias encountered challenges he had never faced on Earth. In xenobiology class, he had to examine alien plants that reacted to touch with color and sound. Initially, he made mistakes, startling the plants. But he learned quickly. His human intuition, trial, error, and adjustment proved surprisingly effective. During interstellar navigation, Elias had to interpret star charts using alien symbols and multidimensional coordinates. While others struggled, he applied pattern recognition, a human strength, and guided his team to accurate solutions. Even in social integration, where he had to negotiate with other species about shared resources in simulated scenarios, his empathy and ability to think differently made him stand out. Every time, Rivix was there, guiding but never taking over. Elias realized that having a mentor who understood his strengths and weaknesses made all the difference. He was learning not just alien knowledge, but also the power of human adaptability in a galaxy full of diverse beings. One afternoon, while walking through the gardens, Elias noticed a small group of students whispering and pointing at him. "Are they judging me?" he asked nervously. Rivix glanced at them, then back at Elias. "Some will always doubt humans. That is natural. What matters is your action, not their opinion." Elias took a deep breath. Action, not opinion. Right. The group of whispering aliens had a minor challenge: set up a small mechanical puzzle designed to test problem-solving. Elias approached it cautiously. The puzzle looked complicated, but he started applying his Earth logic, observing patterns, testing reactions, and adjusting his approach. Within minutes, the puzzle clicked into place. The small group of aliens gasped in surprise. "A human solved it?" one asked. Elias smiled, a little embarrassed but proud. Rivix patted him on the shoulder. "See? Humans think differently. That difference is a gift. Do not underestimate it." For the first time, Elias felt like he truly belonged. Not because he looked like them or spoke like them, but because humans had something unique to offer: creativity, resilience, and a willingness to try new things. That night, back in their room, Elias lay on the bed and reflected on his first week. The idea of sharing a bed with Rivix no longer seemed strange. It had become another part of adapting. A lesson in trust. Rivix was reading again, glowing softly. "You have done well, Elias. You are beginning to understand what it means to be human in a galaxy that is not yours." Elias chuckled. "I'm learning more than I ever expected. And more than I thought I could." "Good. That is why humans are respected. Not just your strength, not just your speed, but your mind. You think differently. You persevere. That is why you will thrive." Elias smiled, feeling a warm sense of pride. He was far from home, surrounded by beings he could barely understand. But he was already making a mark. Humans were not just surviving, they were learning, adapting, and even excelling. He realized that this experience, strange as it was teaching him something more important than alien engineering or star navigation. Humans have the power to thrive anywhere, even when the world around them seems completely alien. Elias drifted off to sleep, the soft glow of Rivix's body beside him, feeling for the first time that he had a place in the vast galaxy. And in the quiet of the room, he thought, maybe this was only the beginning. Humans had much to offer, and he was ready to prove it. Elias had been at the Interstellar Academy for 2 weeks. By now, he was beginning to feel comfortable with Rivix, the alien routines, and even the unusual classes. Yet, there was a subtle unease in the air. It started with small things. During a morning class in Advanced Energy Systems, a floating hologram malfunctioned when Elias approached, flickering violently. Then, in the Material Synthesis Lab, some alien students' experiments inexplicably collapsed, their delicate structures crumbling into dust. At first, Elias thought it was just mistakes, but then he noticed something. The incidents always occurred when humans were nearby. Do you think it's intentional? Elias asked Rivix that evening as they walked through the academy gardens. Rivix's glowing eyes dimmed slightly. It is possible. There are beings who doubt humans. Not all of them will say it openly, but subtle actions are their way of testing or warning. Elias shivered. He had known humans were rare here, and that some species might not trust them, but he had not expected anyone to actively interfere. What should we do? He asked. We observe first, react second. Humans are clever. That is your advantage, Rivix said calmly. Elias nodded, though a nervous feeling settled in his stomach. He had always solved problems on Earth, but sabotage in an alien academy was a new challenge. The next morning, during navigation simulations, Elias noticed something strange on the holographic star maps. A subtle interference pattern appeared whenever he tried to input coordinates. Rivix, look at this, Elias said, pointing. Someone is manipulating the system. Rivix leaned in, analyzing the holographic display. Yes, the interference is precise. This is not accidental. Someone is targeting human input. Elias's mind raced. Targeted sabotage? But why? He thought about his classes, his group work, and even the small victories he had earned. Could someone want to prevent humans from succeeding? Rivix's forearms moved in thought, his glowing patterns shifting as he concentrated. We need to be careful. Observe patterns, collect information, do not confront blindly. Elias nodded, feeling a mix of fear and excitement. This was no longer just learning. It was a test of human intelligence and adaptability. Over the next few days, they watched closely. Elias began noticing small details others missed. A faint energy spike when humans entered a lab. Slight alterations in shared equipment. Even whispers that carried hidden messages in alien tones. It was during one of these observations that Elias had an idea. He could use humans' problem-solving skills in combination with Rivix's alien abilities to detect the source of the interference. Rivix, what if we track the energy anomalies? Elias suggested. We can map them and see where they originate. Rivix's eyes glowed brighter. Yes. A clever plan. We can combine your reasoning with my sensory abilities. Humans are unpredictable, that is your strength. The two spent the next evening preparing. Rivix connected his bioluminescent sensors to a portable holomapper, while Elias calculated potential pathways for the energy interference. Together, they created a detailed map of the Academy's systems. By the time they were finished, they had identified several locations where anomalies originated. Most were minor, but one pattern stood out. Repeated interference in the Central Reactor Simulation Lab. Someone wants to disrupt the reactor experiments, Elias said gravely. If this goes unchecked, it could ruin the humans' project. Rivix nodded. Then we must act. Carefully. Observation is not enough. We must protect, but discreetly. Humans can excel under pressure, Elias. We will ensure that pressure is manageable, not destructive. The next morning, they approached the reactor simulation lab together. Rivix glowed softly, scanning the room with his forearms, while Elias observed patterns in the holographic controls. At first, the room seemed normal. Students were working quietly. The reactor simulation hummed steadily. But then, Elias noticed a subtle distortion in one of the energy conduits. "Here," he whispered. "It's a small adjustment in the power flow. Someone tampered with it." Rivix immediately moved to stabilize the conduit, using his alien abilities to redirect the energy and prevent malfunction. Elias assisted, inputting precise corrections into the holographic interface. The simulation stabilized. Students around them continued their work, unaware of how close disaster had come. Elias felt a surge of pride. "We did it." Rivix turned to him, glowing faintly. "See? Human reasoning, combined with Shalren physiology. That is why humans are respected. You think in ways others cannot. That is your power." Elias grinned. "I think I'm starting to understand. Adaptability isn't just about surviving. It's about noticing things others miss." The next challenge came unexpectedly. During a free period, Elias and Rivix decided to review the anomalies they had mapped. As they compared data, Elias noticed a pattern. The anomalies always increased when humans approached certain labs. "Someone is testing humans," Elias said. "They want to see how we react." Rivix nodded. "Yes. Humans are unpredictable, resourceful, resilient. Testing these traits is a way of measuring your species' value in the galaxy. But not all tests are fair. Some are malicious." Elias felt a chill. Malicious. Someone here might actively want to harm humans' reputation. He wondered who it could be. Alien peers? Competitors? Or perhaps a faction within the Academy itself? They decided to be cautious, documenting every anomaly and working together to prevent harm. Rivix taught Elias advanced alien methods for detecting subtle energy changes, while Elias used human logic to predict possible sabotage points. Together, they became a silent force within the Academy, observing, protecting, and adapting. A few days later, during a group engineering challenge, things escalated. The students were asked to construct a prototype spacecraft capable of navigating a simulated asteroid field. Elias's team included Rivix, a crystalline-skinned alien named Lura, and a small winged creature called Tivix. As they worked, the interference returned. Components misaligned, energy flows fluctuated, and the spacecraft simulation threatened to fail. Elias immediately recognized the signs. "Sabotage," he whispered to Rivix. Rivix's arms moved quickly, stabilizing critical circuits. "We must act fast. Humans can solve this, but we must prevent external interference." Elias thought quickly. He rearranged components in ways no alien had attempted, using human logic to stabilize the simulation. Lura and Tivix assisted, following his lead. Within minutes, the spacecraft prototype functioned perfectly, navigating the simulated asteroid field without issue. The other teams were stunned. Many had failed entirely, unable to counter the unseen interference. Rivix looked at Elias with pride. "Humans are exceptional. You adapt. You think differently. You persevere. That is why your species thrives." Elias smiled, realizing the truth in Rivix's words. Humans might be outsiders in this vast galaxy, but their adaptability and creativity allowed them to overcome challenges even aliens found difficult. That evening, Elias and Rivix walked through the Academy gardens, discussing the day. "Do you think the sabotage will continue?" Elias asked. "Perhaps," Rivix replied. "But humans are capable of handling what others cannot. You have proven that. Trust your instincts. Observe carefully. Act decisively. That is the path of human excellence." Elias nodded, feeling a mix of determination and excitement. Every challenge, every anomaly, was a chance to demonstrate human ingenuity. He realized that humans were not just survivors, they were problem solvers, innovators, and adaptable in ways the galaxy had not yet fully seen. As they returned to their room, Elias looked at the stars outside the window. Earth was a tiny blue dot in the distance, but he no longer felt far from home. Humans carried something unique within them. Curiosity, resilience, and the courage to face the unknown. He climbed into the bed next to Rivix, feeling a strange sense of comfort. The idea of sharing a bed no longer seemed strange, it was a symbol of trust, a bond that strengthened their teamwork and friendship. Tomorrow, Rivix said softly, we continue. Observe, adapt, and excel. Humans are remarkable. You are remarkable, Elias. Elias smiled as he drifted to sleep. The saboteur's shadow may still linger, but he was ready. Humans had faced challenges before, and they would rise to this one too. For the first time, Elias felt a quiet certainty. No matter what the galaxy threw at him, humans would survive and even thrive in ways no one had imagined. The Interstellar Academy was quieter than usual that morning. Elias Carter walked beside Rivix through the corridors, feeling a tension in the air he had not noticed before. The previous weeks had tested him in ways he had never imagined. But today seemed different. Something was coming, he could feel it. Rivix, Elias said quietly. The sabotage. I think it's more serious than we thought. The anomalies are increasing, and it's no longer just small experiments. Rivix's eyes glowed faintly. Yes. The pattern is deliberate. Whoever is behind this is not just testing humans. They are trying to prevent your species from excelling. We must act carefully. Elias nodded. His mind raced. Humans were adaptable, inventive, and resilient, but sometimes ingenuity needed opportunity to shine. They needed to uncover the source before it escalated further. The first clue appeared in the central reactor lab. Rivix and Elias had been reviewing anomaly logs when a faint, repeating signal caught Elias's attention. Look here, Elias said, pointing at the holographic chart. The interference is focused. It seems to originate from the storage area near the observation deck. Someone is coordinating these anomalies intentionally. Rivix's eyes widened. Then we must investigate. Discreetly. Humans excel when they combine observation with careful action. That is your strength. Elias took a deep breath. His pulse quickened. This is it. The real test. They approached the storage area, moving quietly past alien students who were unaware of what was happening. The door to the observation deck hummed softly, a warning system in place to prevent unauthorized entry. Rivix examined the panel with his 4 hands, scanning for energy signatures. The signal is faint but persistent. Someone is hiding their presence cleverly. We must act as one to detect them. Elias nodded and focused. He began analyzing patterns in the data, tracing subtle variations in energy flow. Rivix assisted by using his alien senses to detect hidden distortions. Together, they mapped the anomalies with incredible precision. Finally, they discovered the source, a small control device hidden behind one of the observation deck panels. It pulsed faintly, manipulating systems across the academy. Got it, Elias whispered. Someone is trying to make it look like humans are causing failures. If they succeed, it could ruin everything we've worked for. Rivix's glow brightened. Then we remove it. Humans excel under pressure. I trust your judgment. Elias carefully extracted the device. The energy pulse faded, and the anomalies disappeared. Relief washed over him. They had stopped the sabotage for now. The next step was understanding who was behind it. Rivix and Elias analyzed the device and traced it to a group of students who had been subtly competing with humans. These aliens were not inherently hostile, but they feared humans' rapid learning and adaptability. They are not evil, Rivix explained. They are cautious. They worry humans will disrupt their balance in the academy. But their actions are dangerous. They must understand humans are not threats, they are partners. Elias nodded. We need to show them. Not punish them, but prove humans can cooperate. Not just compete. Rivix smiled. Exactly. That is the human way. Solve problems, adapt, and build trust. They approached the Academy Council, presenting their findings. The council was a mix of species, glowing and floating, with eyes and sensors everywhere. They listened to Elias's explanation of the sabotage, his analysis of the device, and the subtle warnings from their own observations. "And you believe this is intentional, but not malicious?" one of the counselors asked in a musical tone. "Yes," Elias said firmly. "The students were worried about humans, but they were testing us in ways that could have backfired. We need to show that humans can cooperate, adapt, and contribute to the academy, not just compete." The council considered his words carefully. Rivix's presence beside him added weight. An alien species vouching for humans' intelligence and integrity was a powerful statement. Finally, the council nodded. "Very well. Let the students demonstrate cooperation in a controlled challenge. Humans may prove their worth not by winning alone, but by excelling with others." Elias felt a surge of pride. This was the moment humans could show why their species thrived in the galaxy. Adaptability, intelligence, and teamwork. The challenge was set. All students would work together to design a spacecraft capable of surviving a simulated asteroid storm while maintaining energy efficiency. Human ingenuity, alien expertise, and teamwork would be tested simultaneously. Elias teamed up with Rivix, Lura, Tivix, and 2 other alien students who had previously doubted humans. At first, tensions ran high. The other aliens hesitated to follow Elias's suggestions, unsure of human logic. But Elias remembered Rivix's advice: observe, adapt, excel. He began explaining his ideas clearly, combining human engineering with alien energy manipulation. Slowly, the others began to understand. They experimented, tested, and iterated. At one point, the prototype spacecraft nearly collapsed under simulated stress. The group froze, unsure what to do. Elias stepped forward calmly. "Let's adjust the energy flow like this," he suggested, rearranging components and using holographic projections. "We need stability first, efficiency second. Trust me." Rivix assisted, stabilizing the prototype with his 4 arms, while the other students followed Elias's lead. Within minutes, the spacecraft stabilized perfectly, exceeding the simulation's expectations. The Academy Council observed in awe. The combination of human creativity and alien adaptation had solved a problem that had stumped others for weeks. After the challenge, Elias addressed the group. "Humans can think differently, but that doesn't mean we are threats. We can adapt, learn, and cooperate. We all have strengths. Together, we are stronger." The other students looked at him, some nodding slowly. Even the ones who had been suspicious now seemed to respect him. Rivix glowed warmly. "Humans are exceptional, not because of strength, not because of speed, but because they think, adapt, and persist. That is why we value them in the galaxy." Elias felt a warmth in his chest. For the first time, he truly understood why humans were considered remarkable. It wasn't about being the strongest, it was about resilience, creativity, and the ability to rise to any challenge. That night, back in their room, Elias reflected on the events of the day. Sharing a bed with Rivix no longer felt awkward. It was comforting. The bond of trust they had built allowed them to face challenges together. "Do you think humans really belong here?" Elias asked quietly. Rivix's glow pulsed softly. "Yes. Humans are rare, but valuable. Your adaptability, creativity, and persistence make you a species worth knowing. Today, you showed that clearly. You adapted under pressure. You protected others. You solved a problem others could not. That is why humans are respected." Elias smiled, feeling pride swelling inside him. The galaxy was vast, full of species far older and more experienced than humans, yet humans had proven they could thrive and even excel in ways others could not. "Thanks, Rivix," Elias said. "I couldn't have done it without you." "You would have done it alone," Rivix replied. "But humans achieve more when they trust and collaborate. That is your greatest strength." Elias closed his eyes, feeling a deep sense of satisfaction. The sabotage was stopped. Humans had earned respect, and he had learned something essential about his species. Humans were not just survivors, they were problem solvers, innovators, and allies in a galaxy full of differences. As sleep overtook him, Elias thought about the weeks ahead. There would be more challenges, more mysteries, and perhaps even more tests of human ingenuity. But he was ready. Humans had a place here, and he was determined to show the galaxy just how remarkable they could be. And for the first time, he felt completely at home, not just on the Academy, but in the vast, unknown universe. The Interstellar Academy hummed with quiet excitement. Elias Carter woke early that morning, feeling a mixture of nervousness and anticipation. Today was the day of the Grand Interstellar Showcase, where students would present their projects and demonstrate their problem-solving abilities to the Academy Council, alien peers, and visiting dignitaries from across the galaxy. Elias stretched and glanced at Rivix, who was already up, his bioluminescent glow soft and steady. "Good morning, human," Rivix said in his melodic voice. "Today is the culmination of your efforts. Your creativity, adaptability, and trust in collaboration will be witnessed by all. Are you ready?" Elias took a deep breath. "I think so. It feels like the moment humans get to show what we're really capable of." Rivix nodded approvingly. "Exactly. And remember, humans are not only problem solvers, they are partners. Today, you demonstrate that to the galaxy." The showcase hall was enormous. Light streamed through the transparent walls, showing the stars and planets of the nearby system. Hundreds of alien students and teachers filled the seats. Dignitaries from different star systems floated or walked through the aisles, their eyes and sensors scanning every participant. Elias's heart raced as he set up his team's project, a small but efficient interstellar craft designed for exploration in extreme environments. It incorporated both human engineering concepts and alien energy manipulation techniques, an idea he and Rivix had refined over weeks. "Remember," Rivix whispered. "Observe carefully. Communicate clearly. Adapt when necessary. Trust yourselves." Elias nodded and adjusted the holographic controls, feeling a quiet confidence he had never felt back on Earth. The presentations began. Teams demonstrated their spacecrafts, navigation modules, and energy systems. Many alien students had impressive designs, yet some struggled to combine creativity with practicality. When it was Elias's team's turn, he took a deep breath and began explaining their design. He spoke simply and clearly, highlighting how humans approached problem-solving differently from other species. "We focused on adaptability," Elias said, gesturing to the holographic display. "Our design uses human logic to solve unexpected problems and alien energy systems to maintain stability in extreme conditions. By combining our strengths, we created a solution that works even under pressure." Rivix added smoothly. "The human perspective is unique. They see patterns differently, anticipate challenges, and adjust quickly. This project is a demonstration of how cooperation and creativity can overcome complexity." The judges observed quietly, their sensors flickering in approval. They tested the prototype in a simulated asteroid field. The craft navigated with remarkable precision, responding intelligently to every obstacle. Elias glanced at Rivix, who gave a faint glow of encouragement. The entire team felt a surge of pride. They had succeeded not just because of the human contribution, but because of teamwork and trust. After the demonstration, the council spoke. Their musical tones filled the hall, a sign of approval in the alien culture. "Humans are remarkable," one counselor said, "not because they are the strongest or the fastest, but because they think differently, adapt, and persevere. Their ingenuity enhances any collaboration. Today, they have proven their worth to the Interstellar Academy and to the galaxy." Elias felt a flush of pride. He had never imagined being recognized by beings from multiple star systems. Humans were not just participants here, they were innovators, problem solvers, and partners in a galaxy full of diverse life. Even students who had previously doubted humans now looked at Elias with respect. Some approached him quietly, asking questions about human methods and how they had solved specific problems. Rivix glowed proudly beside him. "See? Humans do not just survive. They inspire. They teach others to adapt and cooperate. You, Elias, have shown the galaxy that humans belong here. Elias smiled, feeling warmth spread through him. All the awkwardness, the cultural differences, even the initial fear of sharing a bed with an alien roommate, had led to this moment. Humans were not only surviving, they were excelling. Later, back in their room, Elias and Rivix relaxed. The city of the station shimmered outside the window, lights twinkling like distant stars. You know, Elias said thoughtfully, I used to think humans were just ordinary. But being here, I see how extraordinary we can be. We adapt, we solve problems, and we keep going, even when things seem impossible. Rivix's glow pulsed softly. Exactly. Humans are rare, but your rarity is strength. Your adaptability and ingenuity make you a species that others must respect and learn from. You have proven that, through action, not words. Elias chuckled. I guess sharing a bed with a glowing four-armed alien was just the start of all my lessons. Rivix tilted his head, forearms folding neatly. Indeed. Trust begins in small ways. The bed was a symbol, not an obstacle. You learned to trust, to adapt, and to overcome discomfort. That is how humans thrive. That is how you succeed. Elias laughed softly. Well, I trust you, Rivix. And I guess that's made all the difference. Rivix's glow brightened warmly. And I trust you, Elias. Humans are remarkable. Today, you have shown the galaxy what your species can achieve. The following day, the Academy hosted a formal reception. Humans, aliens, and dignitaries mingled, discussing the projects, ideas, and discoveries made during the showcase. Elias found himself in conversation with representatives from different star systems, explaining human approaches to problem-solving and teamwork. What makes humans so different? One alien asked, curious. Elias thought for a moment. I think it's how we approach challenges. We adapt quickly, we find creative solutions, and we don't give up easily. We work with others, even when we don't fully understand them. That combination, it seems to work well in the galaxy. The alien nodded thoughtfully. Remarkable. Humans will be a valued part of our coalition. Elias smiled, realizing that his species had earned more than acceptance, they had earned respect. That evening, as he returned to the room with Rivix, Elias reflected on the journey so far. From his first awkward introduction and cultural misunderstandings, to discovering sabotage, solving problems, and proving humanity's worth, he had grown in confidence and skill. Rivix, Elias said, I think I understand now. Humans belong here not because we're perfect, but because we can adapt, cooperate, and overcome challenges. We bring something different, and that difference matters. Rivix's glow pulsed softly in agreement. Yes, humans have survived and thrived for millennia on Earth. Now, you bring that resilience to the galaxy. Your species is rare, but rare is valuable. Remember this, Elias. Humans excel where others struggle, because they think differently and persevere. Elias lay back on the bed, feeling content. The stars outside the window reminded him of Earth, distant but never forgotten. He had come far in just a few weeks, learning to trust, adapt, and shine in ways he had never imagined. For the first time, he felt the full weight and joy of being human in a universe full of life. Humans were not just surviving, they were thriving, inspiring others, and showing the galaxy what they could do. Rivix, already settled beside him, gave a faint glowing pulse like a heartbeat of approval. Elias smiled and closed his eyes, feeling calm, confident, and ready for whatever came next. Tomorrow, he knew, would bring new challenges. But for now, he was proud of humanity. Humans had proven themselves extraordinary, not just to aliens, but to themselves. And in the quiet of the room, sharing a bed with his four-armed, glowing friend, Elias thought, humans survive, humans adapt, humans thrive. And together, we can accomplish anything.